Welcome to Gail's Garden, Herbs and More. And I have lots of herbs, but believe it or not, I still need to buy more. I do a lot with herbs. What I want to talk about today is a little bit about growing your herbs and a little bit about buying your herbs and what to look for. I have a lot of different herbs and I do a lot of different things. I make a lot of teas. I'm even thinking about making a book on some of my recipes and other little tidbits about the herbs that go into the recipes and stuff like that. It'll be a while before I get there. But I make a lot of other things besides teas. I do oils and rubs, and I do tinctures a lot of those I use in my mouthwash. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with herbs. But with all those herbs that I have, they're still not enough because I do so much. I mean, I do a lot, and I go through a lot of tea. But don't feel bad if you're growing herbs and you're proud of that fact. I mean, it's a great accomplishment to get a big bunch of herbs going and doing different things. But even at that, sometimes you still have to buy herbs. Now, I order some offline, but I like buying them from local people. And today I bought some local herbs. It's kind of dark in here, but there's a pretty good color. They could be a little bit greener, but that's pretty good. That's not bad. I've seen them brown, and you don't want to get brown stuff. They should not be brown. There should be a good rich color to them when you get them. Now, this is Valerian. You can see the flower in there because a lot of your medicine is in the flower. There's some in the leaves and roots too, but there's a lot there in the flower. And this is St. John's Wort, which I tried to grow last year, but my seeds didn't come up. But there's pretty good color here. And that's something you really want to check. And then another thing you want to look for, like my daughter was buying some herbs too. I forget I think it was sage. And either he had three different types of sage. He had the leaves, he had it where it was ground into a powder. And then he had like the big bundles if you want to bundle them up and burn them. Some people burn sage in their home. Don't get the powder kind necessarily because it's going to last longer if you get the leaves in your jars. And then you can grind it up or just crunch it between your fingers. That's what I do with my sage and my food. So that's what I had recommended to her when we were out there. I am sorry for this mess. New dog. She's 6 or 7 months old. Golden Retriever. She's made such a mess. But you can grow herbs in all kinds of places. I've got nasturtium there, and you can just chives. That's all growing around my rows. And you can I tuck them in wherever I can tuck them in, and you can do that. And it actually is healthy for your other plants as well. Now, this rose doesn't look totally healthy right now because it's just coming out of winter, but they really do help your herbs. Chamomile is really great to grow with all kinds of things because it helps them to be stronger, sturdier, your other plants to be stronger and sturdier. Now, this is a black goji berry growing on my fence. First of all, let me say, this year I'm going to try to consolidate a little bit. It's just me taking care of this garden and my herbs and stuff. So I'm trying to get rid of a lot of stuff, and I've contemplated whether I want to keep this or not because I got one little tiny handful last year. Of course, it's still pretty small, but they're kind of hard to come by. So I may try to go ahead and grow it, and I've got some black goji berry seeds. I may try to grow some more because that is one that's really hard to come by. But like now, video problems. Okay, this is my elderberry that's in the ground, and it's doing really, really well. The ones in the pot they just don't do as well. You can see there's one of them in a pot. It's okay, but the other one on the far end, which is my oldest, it doesn't even hardly have any leaves this year, but they're going to come out. They just don't do as well. What I was thinking about was maybe if I could ever get up enough money again to buy another green stalk and plant herbs in it. And I thought, But I don't know, I can't plant things like elderberry. But this is just your common thyme, and it would do good in a green stock. And that would be more consolidation, closer together, just watering the top and not the individual pockets. So there's probably a lot of herbs that you can grow in there. I'm thinking about it if I can save up enough money for one. Now, I do have a chamomile over there. It's a little green, that little green down in there, the smaller one. This is feverfew right there, but over there, that little one. And like I was saying, I just threw a bunch of chamomile seeds in all kinds of places. I don't know if they'll come up or not. I seem to do better with just buying the plants somewhere than the seeds coming up. I don't know why. Even my own plants, the seeds don't come back from it, and they should. But everybody is different where they're at and can handle things differently. That's when you could probably grow some chamomile in a green stock. It'd probably do okay. Look how beautiful my rosemary is. It's a big old rosemary bush. That's not going to work in the green stock. Not for long anyway. You'd have to eventually transplant it out. I'm thinking about places for my herbs that pretty much stay, but now some herbs are small. If you're going to take them out, I guess it would be okay at the end of the season, but I would rather keep mine going if I can. Where I live, I can grow a lot longer, have a lot longer seasons, so I don't know. Again, it's that consolidation thing because I'm the only one taking care of stuff. I'm trying to think what I can put closer together, easier on watering on me in the summer and that kind of stuff. But there are a lot of little herbs that I could probably put in there, and that would work. Look at this. This is the other elderberry. But it's in a pot. It doesn't do as well as it does in the ground. Some herbs you just have to do in the ground. Of course, that's because it's like a big bush. That's not going to grow in a green stock. You have to do your little things like your thyme if you're thinking about herbs with it. And my lavender likes it kind of dry, so I have it up here. I've got some rocks around the bottom edged to edge it off. It grows great in the ground and big, and it gives me more than I need for right now anyway. So that's a good thing. You have to think about each of the herbs. Some herbs like water, and some don't like a lot of water. Like lavender, you don't need a whole lot of water. I'm going to be moving my herb wheel, so I dug up some of my oregano in the fall and brought it over here. A lot of it died back. It didn't transplant real well, but there's still some coming back, so I think it's going to be okay. And my chocolate plant there is starting to blossom. There's blossoms all the way up that chocolate plant. I've got yarrow over here, which does really good right here. This is what's left of my herb wheel. And it's pretty much been decimated except for a couple things. I still have oregano coming back, and it's so thick the chickens can't even dig it up. And the feverfew has done really well too. Looks like some of the lemon balm's coming back, but the chickens just keep pecking at it, won't let it get very big. I'm thinking about digging some of this up and just tearing this all out because it's in a place that's just not good. Over in the garden area that's fenced off would keep the chickens away, but I don't have anywhere to put it. I really loved my herb wheel too. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but wherever you put them somewhere that's not accessible by other animals to get in there and tear them up. Sometimes that's hard because you don't have the money to do a lot of fencing or a lot of this. So you kind of have to figure it to your circumstances, what you have, and just work with it the best you can. Now, this is my lilac, and it's blooming, my favorite. My favorite. I don't smell anything, though. Maybe because I haven't opened yet. I transplanted it, too, and it's still blooming. I'm so excited. I put it in here so if I leave, I can take it with me. You want to think about that, too, if you don't own your property. Some things I've just had to plant, but other things I just can't hardly plant because I keep thinking I might have to leave. So there's so many things that you have to keep in the back of your mind as to what you're doing and what kind of chances you want to take. But I didn't think I would be here as long as I am here. So if I hadn't have done some things, I wouldn't have them at all. Forgive all the mess. The dog is just drug stuff everywhere. But This is aloe vera that's gotten eaten down. I had a bunch of babies and planted them. The weather got to them a little bit. The chickens got to them. But back here, for some reason, knock on wood, they haven't got to them as bad, and they are growing other than what the weather's done to them. So, just keep trying to see what works best in your yard or your property. I have to say, too, these are protected a little more than those first ones I showed you, because in the summer they're in the shade more. Aloe vera doesn't like a lot of direct sun. It doesn't like too much cold either. As you can see, because there's no leaves on the trees, there's not as much protection from the cold, and it did kill some, but I still have some. So, you just have to keep working with it. I'm going to get some here. Those others are not protected from the sun, and I don't know. They keep trying to grow on those first ones, but because they're so little and killed back, and the chickens can get to them easier. But these are doing okay. Look, I think my sunflowers, some of them, are going to make it. And I threw some other little flower seeds in here. The chickens tore it up pretty bad. I need to refix this up, but I want to put some sort of fencing all the way around to try to keep some of them out of my greenhouse. Some of the animals, so that is. It'd be funny if it wasn't so funny, but the dog sensed I marked some of my plants with these, and the dog came in here and pulled them all out, so I don't know which is which and the ones she pulled out. But such is life. You're always having to deal with something. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. I don't know if you noticed, this is my Anise Hyssop, and I had a little plant out there in the garden that was actually doing pretty good. And I've harvested off this one here in the greenhouse. But if you don't have a greenhouse, don't give up. This is my first winter to have one. The plant is a lot bigger and prettier in the greenhouse here. But the one that I left out there, because I was just trying to see the difference in how they did, you can still grow them even without a greenhouse. Maybe just put them somewhere where they're kind of protected against a wall or something would help. They are supposed to come back each year, but of course this one didn't die all the way out, but it's looking much better than it was. They kind of die out even in this greenhouse because I don't have it heated. And there are some things you can do. I put this insect material. The dog got it and chewed it up too and pulled it off, but I put it back. Some of them, she didn't think she pulled that one off. Trying to keep the bugs and the chickens and the animals out of them. It doesn't help much with the dog. So, but just keep looking at things to protect. I don't know what your circumstances are, but you have to keep trying to find a way. Here's my other Anise Hyssop. Now, what I did back here, now see, that's pretty, it's coming back now, is I had it here by the protection of the lavender in this big box here, and it didn't do bad. It's the end of March, and it's coming back really, really well. So, yeah, you don't have to have a greenhouse, although it does help, but do what you can where you're at and with what you have. You can use all kinds of things to plant in, and you just got to get out there and do it with what you have and do the best you can. And everybody's circumstance is a little different in how they're going to handle animals and pests. There's some things that all of us can do, like adding fertilizer of some sort to our plants, or we all end up having to fight bugs somehow. So that insect cloth is really great. I'm going to have to figure out more on using it too. But yeah, these are just a few things I wanted to share with you about herbs. Herbs in your yard and herbs that you buy. Look at this sage. It's beautiful. But even when you look for the good color and all that when you're buying herbs, if you're ordering offline, you don't get the chance to look at it. Sometimes you get some pretty good stuff and sometimes you don't. I've already harvested that once down there. That's my cilantro, but it's coming back. I cut the leaves off and used it in a juice in my juicer. But yeah, I love the smell of this. It's not the regular sage, but I use it like a regular sage. It smells so good. But This one's not really an herb or even edible. It's just pretty growing up over my gate, and I just love all the little blossoms coming on it. They're kind of unique looking, and it kind of smells like chocolate. But it's sweet. Oh, I've got cookies. I gotta go get my cookies in the oven, and they are good for you kind of cookies. Even calendula flowers growing down there, they don't get bothered too much by the chickens and stuff. They're pretty tough, although sometimes the chickens will get them. But herbs are like groceries, like your veggies. They're always better homegrown, so give it a try. I wanted to say, too, there's a lot of, that's some of my peppers that I grew. And there's a lot of work in growing your own. And it's not only the growing, but the preparing and working with them when they're done. That's a dried persimmon there. Actually, dried persimmons are pretty good. Give it a try, though, if you don't mind all the work. You can either do both or just buy. But like I said, look for the most color is the most nutrients in your herbs. Good luck. Give it a try. And, oh, by the way, give me a thumbs up on my video. Thanks. I'll catch you later.